Watches of Switzerland just bought Hodinkee. And I don't think that's a good thing for me and you. So let's talk about it. But first, I'm not a watch expert, I'm just a watch nerd. So if I've got anything to say that you massively disagree with, or if you just think I'm playing wrong and should shove my opinion where the sun don't shine, let me know down in the comments. And whilst you're down there, why not like, subscribe, ding that bell icon so you never miss another video, and why not click that join button? It would be very, very much appreciated. Everyone knows Watches of Switzerland in the watch world. Everyone knows Hodinkee. Those are two big forces, and they've just been mushed together because of a big exchange of a lot of money. In other words, Watches of Switzerland have just bought Hodinkee. Now, if you don't know Watches of Switzerland, which I don't know how you wouldn't, but there's a couple different brands built in there. There's the Watches of Switzerland brand, there's Goldsmiths, there is Mappin & Webb, there's Mayors in the US. If you want a little rundown of Watches of Switzerland, 223 stores, close to 3,000 employees, and over £1.5 billion in revenue in 2024. Well, end of financial year 2024. So, giant company, big company. And if you don't know Hodinkee, they're the biggest source of watch news. They also do some retail, they do a lot of stuff. So yeah, that's Watches of Switzerland, that's Hodinkee. There's no question about it. Watches of Switzerland has had a difficult few years. If you look at their share price, well, in 2022, it had a maximum of 1,500, the share price, which, to be honest, did mark a massive bubble on the luxury watch market, to be fair. But now, as of right now, it's below 500, 480. That has seen an increase since the news broke that Watches of Switzerland bought Hodinkee, but they've had a hard time of it, essentially. Rolex bought Bucherer, which was a massive red mark in the side of Watches of Switzerland. Didn't bode well. And let's be honest, Hodinkee hasn't had a great time either. They've had quite a few rounds of layoffs. They've tried to go into commercial and sort of selling watches. And to be honest, a lot of people don't really trust Hodinkee's journalism anymore. We, for example, can be anecdotal about this. We don't get a lot of information directly from watch sources yet. We get press releases from a couple brands, but nowhere near the level that someone like Hodinkee would get. However, we've had to stop relying on Hodinkee articles for our information. We now, if we get information from Hodinkee, we double check it against someone like Watch Pro or Fratello. Fratello is now our number one source of information. They don't cover everything, so we do still have to use other sites like Hodinkee. But with Hodinkee, we take everything with a grain of salt. And that doesn't bode well for a journalistic website. These guys are pros. We're hobbyists. We do this in our spare time. Hodinkee, it's a major company, and if you can't trust them, what's the bloody point of reading one of their articles? Anyway, Watches of Switzerland, which is probably the world's biggest watch retailer, luxury watch retailer, has bought Hodinkee. I've said that numerous times, and there's some good things about it. Good for Hodinkee and Watches of Switzerland. So it looks like Watches of Switzerland has used existing financial leverage to purchase Hodinkee. So no new loans, nothing like that. So it seems like it was a cash purchase. We don't have any details, but that's good because Watches of Switzerland's financial position is quite leveraged. They leveraged themselves to over COVID. Like if I look at their situation locally, they have 7 stores just in Bristol. They have a Goldsmiths in Cabot Circus, a Goldsmiths in Cribbs Causeway. They've got 2 Breitling boutiques in Bristol, 2 Tag Heuer boutiques in Bristol, and a Tudor boutique. That's 7 shops in one city of 500,000 people. That's a lot. So they are highly leveraged. So the fact that this acquisition has been made by cash is really good. And let's be honest, it's great for Hodinkee as well. They've been struggling. They will now have all of the investment that they can cram into their pocket. They won't have to do the commercial side anymore. They can leave out the commercial and actually give the journalism, the thing that made them well known, some credibility. Put some time into it. Do all of these things. Now, why is this a bad thing? Well, I'm an ex-Watches of Switzerland employee. I know their modus operandi, essentially. what you can and cannot say when you are a Watches of Switzerland employee. So on the press release from the director of Hodinkee, or about this acquisition, he said nothing will change at Hodinkee, that they were going to be fully independent and just be under the Watches of Switzerland umbrella. Now, I am calling bull on that. The amount of media acquisitions and stuff, and social media acquisitions, just acquisitions that have just been like, yeah, nothing's going to change. It's all going to be good. It's going to be like you like it. It's always a lie. They're not going to come in and say, yeah, everything's going to change. You're going to hate it, essentially. They've purchased a media company that was doing badly, so things have to change. And it's been purchased by a giant multimedia corporation with shareholders. And the shareholders are going to want a return on their investment. So they are going to demand change to get a return on their investment. And the shareholders want to see the share price start going up, because otherwise, what's the point of holding those shares? Okay? So things are going to have to change at Hodinkee. So that press release was a lie. For me, the number one job of media is A, to be honest and reliable, and also to hold people to account. For watch media, the people that you hold to account will be watch retailers and watch manufacturers. Hodinkee's ability to do that has just been massively compromised. A, Hodinkee are never going to be holding Watches of Switzerland to account for anything anymore, because why the hell would they? They are now Watches of Switzerland. And B, why would they be holding some major brands that need to be held to account when necessary to account? We made a video. We made a Rolex tier list where we described some Rolexes as perfect, don't get me wrong. There's some I absolutely love. But we railed against a couple Rolexes which I think are terrible. Okay, and at the time, I worked for Watches of Switzerland. It was a balanced video. Some were perfect, some are terrible. Terrible, awful watches. If you want to watch the video, it is a members video, so you can go watch it. Rolex got in contact with Watches of Switzerland and said, this is terrible. You cannot have an employee saying this publicly. And I ended up losing my job. I resigned, but I was going to lose my job anyway. And Rolex is Watches of Switzerland's number one source of revenue. In just the goldsmiths I worked in, they had a target of roughly £200,000 a week and about 80 to 100 grand a week revenue from other brands. That is how significant Rolex is for Watches of Switzerland. If you think Watches of Switzerland is going to allow Hodinkee to turn around and criticise Rolex's business practices and their lawsuits and some of their just terrible, lazy designs and stuff, you're wrong. They're not going to allow that to happen. They're not going to allow it to happen with Breitling, for whom they run a ton of boutiques, Tag Heuer, Tudor. It's just not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. There's not going to be anywhere near the same amount of already limited transparency that there was from Hodinkee, because Watches of Switzerland will not allow it. It will just piss off their shareholders, and it will just, again, jeopardize their share price. Shareholders are going to want to see a return on investment, and they're not going to let Hodinkee have any journalistic integrity, because that could jeopardize their business relationships. Oh, it's a great business move for Hodinkee, and it's a great business move for Watches of Switzerland. I fully support that. I fully understand that. And at the end of the day, these are both businesses, so it made sense for them. But for consumers, for people who rely on the media to get impartial buying advice, reviews, all of these things, it's bad. And I hope you guys agree with me, because I do have some insider, not information, but knowledge about Watches of Switzerland. And honestly, it's not even specific to Watches of Switzerland. It's general shareholder-owned, publicly listed companies. They're not going to allow people within the company, independent within the company or not, to slag off their biggest commercial partner. What do you guys think of this acquisition? Is it terrible? Is it okay? Or is it even good? Let us know down in the comments. And whilst you're down there, why not like, subscribe, ding that bell icon so you never miss another video, and why not click that join button? It'd be very nice if you supported us directly. And whilst we're on the subject of the join button, thank you very, very much to our channel members on screen now. You guys are the absolute best. And who else is the best, Terry?
Everybody watching.
Everybody watching. So if you're watching this video, thank you very, very much, and watch yourselves.